So let's continue working on the design here. Last time we finished on prototyping some of the home page. And today we're going to be continuing with the same routine by prototyping this go back button and also some interactions in the favorites page. Let's start from this one, which is quite simply the easiest thing we're going to be doing today. Let's go back to components. Now you can see we already are in the habit of creating some components for our buttons, but here we have to do it for our primary button. I'm just going to create a new component variant, call it on press. This should be defaults. Again, let's give it some auto layouts and prepare it for editing, right? So nothing really new. We've done this so many times. Now what we want to do is we want to take the press variant, and we want to apply the brand 450 color. So that means it's just going to get a bit darker, just enough for us to distinguish it from the default variant. So let's just get everything close to each other here. And I think everything's ready. So what we have to do is we want to select this, go to prototyping, add interaction, while pressing, change to on press. Smart animates, ease in, and 200 milliseconds. So this is something we've discussed about previously, and we've done this so many times. So hopefully it's clear what we are doing at this point. So I'm just gonna go here, and maybe you can see it. It's very subtle, but you can make out that when I'm pressing it, let's go full screen. When I'm pressing the button, a color change happens, indicating that an action is being done on the button, this time the action being pressing. Great. So let's go back to the design here. And we have to now create some other variants for other components. Now we're going to be primarily working on this part here for the list of favorite items. So let's go back to components. And down here, we have the channel variant components, right? So I'm just going to take everything down to give ourselves more space. Create a new component variant, call this on press, and change the color here and prepare it as we do again and again here. So now on press, what we want to do is we want to change the fill to be slightly darker. So we've been working with this so many times, so it's going to be 350. Actually not darker, but lighter it seems. So what I want to do next is I want to go here, interactions, again doing the same thing, right? So while pressing, change to from the defaults to on press. It should be smart animate, ease in, and 200 milliseconds. So we have to go back to the design and change the name here to use the small letter for D for default. Now if we go here, actually we have to, let's run this again just to get everything running. So let's go back to design, let's select the page you want and just play this. And now when it runs, it should have all the updated information here. Also, you're going to be changing some elements here, including these 3 dots up next. So you can see while I'm pressing it, a shift in the color happens, right? So that's all the interaction we need at this point. Next up, we want a new component variant. So let's just create this component variant here, and let's call this let's call this delete. Okay, let's get it down. So we're gonna go here, and we have to change this. So I'm just going to go pick out the delete icon from here. This is the icon pack we've been using all throughout this course, by the way. And I believe they do have some delete buttons right here. Okay, let's just take the default one. Works nice. Let's go back to assets down here. Let's paste it in. Control Alt O first of all, as always. Okay, let's get the group out. Let's call this delete icon. Let's make it white and let's make it into 16 by 16 and create a component out of it. Okay, as you can see, here's our deletes icon. And we're just going to copy it from this point. We're just going to copy it. Actually, let's do some changes here. Let's make some changes. Actually, we're just going to change it when we get to the actual design, inserting it. For now, let's just change the names. This is going to be skeleton. Okay. This is going to be the lid. I think it's like this. This is going to be the body. And let's just copy it, go back to components, and Ctrl-Shift-R here. Just paste and replace. And at this point, what we want to do is we want to maintain an auto layout formation here. So let's create auto layout from this. Let's create a frame. Name it delete CTA. No gaps. Full height. A bit padding here, around 8. Actually, the width should match the height, so let's go 29 and center it. And also, let's give it a fill. It should be red 500 because this is a critical action. And since the outer corner radius is 4, this one could be either smaller corner radius, but I assume here to just be consistent, I'm going to go with the full corner radius here. And it seems kind of cramped in here, so let's just give this more of a width. Like 40. And let's decrease the height. And this looks about right, matching everything being done here. Actually, if we want this to work perfectly, let's make this 22, let's say, and let's make this 40. Okay, so at this point, we have everything we need to create the interactions. So let's just go here and select this. So let's create a prototype where on click, change to delete. Okay, it should be instant. So let's go here and on click. Okay, first let's actually restart this. Okay, let's replay this again. Okay, so now let's make it full screen and try it. Okay, so it's not activated for some reason. Let's try to fix the problem. Let's go back to components. And here we are saying on click, change to this. But I think perhaps we have to apply the on click here. So on click, change to delete instant. Okay, so yeah, it does work. Okay, so we also need an extra bit of information right here. We want to take the closing uh, icon from somewhere. I think it's here. Yeah, let's just take it from here and paste it in here. So the way we're going to be doing this is flip it the color selection. This should be a bit darker, so 100, I believe, or maybe even whites. Maybe let's go 400. I think that works better. So also let's go decrease the size here. Fill container, and this should be okay. Let's just go back to assets. Let's copy this. Let's go back to components and change this X for tortured R. Okay, hmm, let's detach instance since this is a separate close icon. I believe so. Yeah. So Control Shift R. So now we can resize it freely. So I'm gonna go with 12. So since this is 24, we want to take both of them and group them 12. And let's make this fill the heights and decrease this to 12 again. And decrease this to around 8. So this will be our final design. And let's prototype this. So let's go back to prototype and we're going to add an interaction here. On click, change to default instance. Okay, so this might seem a bit complicated, but it's just very simple prototyping, changing from one state to another state on some action detecting on one element here. So, okay, yeah, let's reset everything here. So, okay, so when I press it, you can see it's a bit glitchy here. Hmm, maybe perhaps we should restart it. Okay, yeah, but we should remove this probably. Okay, not that. Okay, yeah. So you can see now when we open and close, the changes are detected. And obviously when we want to, when we click this, we want this to disappear, but that's not something possible, I don't think. Through Crane. Now I'm gonna leave you with sort of a project or assignment here. And that is, you can see this state does not have any way to change into this pressable state. If we go on the full screen here, you can see they can open and close, but they can't be pressed. So I want you to practice your Figma prototyping by figuring out a way of doing that, applying this to this. And it's very simple. Hence, you should be creating a different component variant for this one alone. Uh, so it's not complicated. I'm pretty sure you can do it. You've learned and discussed this so many times before. And yeah, so that's all for today. It's not too complicated what we learned. We just apply some basic prototyping in Figma to create some cool interactions. Now what is remaining here is if we go back So we need some final prototyping here. We need one prototyping action for the skip, and we need some way of changing these. And finally, we need the continue and go back buttons to work. Also, we don't need this to be here. So I think that's all going to be done in the next episode, and that will be the final part where we're going to be finishing off this whole design. Great. I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and meet you in the next one.